Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Joel from Easy Engineering and welcome back to another video. So this is a track that I've been working on over the past few days, and I thought it would be a good idea to just kind of run through and talk about how I made this ARP over here. I think it's kind of within the track, it's quite the main element to focus on, and yeah, I think it's a great sound and I think it really carries the track very nicely. It adds a lot of drive to the track and a lot of energy too. And the way I've made it, it's really cool because you have a lot of control over it. You have your macros over here, and as you can see, I'm actually using two instruments. So there's two sounds acting as one to just get bigger sound, more control over certain dynamics of the sound, certain frequencies of the sound, certain characteristics of the sound, and just to add emphasis to the sound, really. So I'm going to start off by saying that this is an instrument rack. So what I've done is I've grouped it. So first I had this operator just acting as the low ARP. Right, and what I did is I created that first and I grouped it, and then what I did is I took another operator and I dropped it in there and kind of copied the same sound, or kind of the same idea of the sound, but I changed the oscillator section. So let's start with the sub sound, or this bottom layer. It's a simple sound. It's literally just a saw wave with some envelope modulation on the filter cutoff, and then some automation. I've mapped the frequency, the filter cutoff to a macro, and I've also mapped my release to the same macro. And that's what happened. This is what happens when you mix these two together. You map them together is to create that big long lead up or build up sound that you hear. Yeah, and you can do some really cool stuff like that. You hear it in a lot of deep house techno tunes. There's just this massive build up. The cutoff opens up, the reverb gets louder, everything kind of gets bigger. So yeah, literally just a saw wave with some envelope modulation. Dropped the sustain down, added an envelope, just a small envelope, just to get that little pluckiness to the sound. I've opened up the spread, or pushed the spread up to quite a bit, 91%, and I've transposed it down by -24. This is it without it. Now it is quite high, I won't lie. Well, not too high actually, but it does go quite high. It goes from F sharp on the second octave to the fourth octave, so it does get quite high. So I did drop it down by 24 just to get that nice low growling kind of rolling bass line. And also, like I've said in a previous video, it kind of just gives you a bit more headroom to work with pitch. And make sure that, oh, actually this one I haven't done this, but on the other one I have, but I've pretty much changed it from FM synthesis to just series. Put the oscillators in series. I mean, I can do the same for this one, it doesn't matter because it's just one oscillator. Anyway, what I've done is I've gone and compressed it. I've added some medium compression with some medium attack and medium release, just to kind of grab all the transients or the whole kind of dynamic range and just squash them a little bit and keep them quite controlled, especially because I'm opening up the filter cutoff and the release quite a bit. You need a little bit of strong settings over there. I've added 3 EQs because I'm just shaping the sound a bit. You don't have to add so many, but I've just felt like it's been needed, really. Could have used Fab Filter and just gone in there and obviously done all of this in one thing, but yeah, I chose to do it this way. And as you can see, I've actually mapped this filter cutoff to my macro. It's just a high pass filter basically, just to add some more effect. But I have to keep it around there because I do want to cut off obviously all the low end. Next, I've added a saturator, and this actually really gives the character of the sound. So if you can hear, just adds a nice little like harmonic distortion to it. Now the saturator without the compression makes a huge difference, as you can hear. Yeah, I've added some more compression just to kind of obviously tighten up and control the distortion that I've done with the saturator, and that's literally it for the sound. Next, I can go on to the high ARP. And again, it's just the same settings, really. I mean, some envelope modulation on the filter cutoff, filter frequency and release mapped to a macro. But with these, I've actually use 2 oscillators, and like I said, I put them in series. That's because I don't want them to have modulation between each other. And I've used 2 triangles as the waveform, and you can see on this one I've just kind of shaped the envelope a little bit, the amp envelope. I've boosted up the spread, and again I've brought it down just by -12. Like I said, it's to give more headroom to work with the pitch in Operator, because you can't go down any further, you're gonna go up. So what I've done is I've had one on 2 or up an octave, and this one down an octave, and that's just to give that kind of see, it kind of widens the sound and makes it sound a little bit bigger. Next, I've added a chorus and found a sweet spot, and it just sounds a lot better with it. Kind of gives a little bit of distortion, a little bit more character to the sound. And then obviously I've gone in and EQ'd it and just kind of got rid of a few unwanted frequencies, such as low end, and some resonant frequencies over there. I've added a delay next, and then a saturator. I feel like maybe I could put the saturator before the delay, just because I want the whole sound to be delayed. I don't want it to be delayed and then saturated. And then I've added a reverb. That should just give it more character, but more space to the mix. As you can hear, the reverb really gives it a lot of character. And that especially helps with. Next, what I've done on the whole group is I've actually just added a glue compressor and then my filter, because I'm controlling it as a low pass filter over here. Glue compressor is just to kind of compress the 2 sounds together to make them sound and act as one sound. And that's pretty much it for the sound design. I hope I've covered it all. I have added a saturator macro over here. That's just to control some parameters. And yeah, that's it. Now I'm going to teach you how to make this op within Ableton. So I'm not really skilled musically or in music theory, so to do this, it's a really great technique. And what you have to do is add an arpeggiator, a random, and then a scale, basically. And the reason you add a scale is because of the random. So what you do is you have your arpeggiator acting. Let's actually get rid of all of this for now. So there you go. Now when you add the arpeggiator, we'll bring this up to 2 steps, bring it to 1/16. You can keep it on up, I suppose. I mean, you can have it up, down, and then bring up the gate to about 85, just under about 100%. And that will obviously give it that. Now what you want to do is you want to add some variation to this op. So you add in a random, bring up the chance to, you know, just over halfway. And I'd say bring down the choices. The choices basically tells the random tool to how many choices it has to choose from within pitch. So obviously the random will choose different notes within the scale, and it will just randomly choose one based on whichever note is playing. See, one is over there. Now if I have it on random, it's just a better example. Now you can hear, because it's in random, it's not really staying in scale or 2 keys. Some of the notes it's choosing is not within the F sharp key or the F sharp minor key. So what I've done is I've put a minor pentatonic scale, put it into F sharp, and that way it actually keeps the randomizer in scale. Now I've switched it to alternating because I want the pattern to kind of be continuous or repeat. So that's why I brought down the choices to maybe, let's say 5. That means it's got 5 choices to choose from within the scale, and it's going to alternate between those 5 choices in a repetitive manner. Now I've chosen to do bi, which means that's going to choose notes above the F sharp note and below the F sharp note. If I have it to sub, it's only going to choose notes below it. If I have it to add, it's only going to choose notes above it. All you have to do next is open up a MIDI channel. You want to take the MIDI from the ARP. Now, because there's 2 instruments, you have to choose which one it's taking it from. So I'm going to check it from the high ARP because that's where it is. And then I'm going to just do post effects, and I'm going to arm this track and then press record. There you go. You see how it's very, it's very repetitive. It's very continuous. So you can probably boost the choices a little bit, maybe bring up the add, and let's bring down that, and let's see again. Okay. What if we do that? Cool, yeah, there you go. You see, you can just kind of mess about with it, mess about with these parameters for a bit, record some stuff in, and then choose the pattern that you like, and then kind of just go with it, or change it up a little bit. But it's a great way, it's a great start if you don't know how or where to start in making an arpeggiated sound within the piano roll. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I think that's a pretty cool sound to have. It's a very nice fat arp to use. Like I said, it carries the energy very well within the track and gives the track a lot of direction. Cool, there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you liked the sound that I made, and I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you liked the video, please leave a like, comment down below, and if you want to see more of these videos, you know what to do, and smash that subscribe button. Also, make sure that you hit that little bell button on the side to get a notification with the next time that I release a video. Anyway, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, guys, and with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.